Blog Talk Radio.
This is Tyson Dean, and you're kicking it into WSC Lounge with Jason and Brian, sharing all the latest on wrestling and sports and all your entertainment service. Hey, this is Bob Aswell, and guess what? You're listening to the WSE Lounge. Hello, everyone. Papa Stroh, the Maestro of Wrestling here, and you're listening to the WSE Lounge. Hey, y'all, we're Johnny Dixie, and you're listening to the WSE Lounge. Hey, guys, it's country recording artist Katie Bell Agent, and you're listening to WSE Lounge. This is country music singer Amanda Joe, and you are listening to the WSE Lounge. Music 88th Street, and you're listening to your WSE Lounge. Hello, this is Bill Murray. One of the Wolf Island Window Express. You listen to me on Brian and Jason, WSE Lounge. This is Stranger Harry. Hey guys, I'm Robert Palmer Watkins, and I play Bill Quartermain on General Hospital, and you are listening to the WSE Lounge. This is Tony Blanchard, and you are listening to the WSE Lounge.
Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the WSE Lounge. I'm Jason Boyd, along with my esteemed co-host, Mr. Brian Vaughn, and at this time, our guest is a championship karate instructor. He is an MMA fighter and Renegade Championship Wrestling star, Mr. CJ Holloway. CJ, welcome to the WSE Lounge.
Hey guys, how you doing? It's good to be here.
Doing good. It's great to have you on the show today, sir. And it's great to have a partnership with Renegade Championship Wrestling to showcase you among other stars from the great company of Renegade Championship Wrestling. What was it that first got you interested into being a professional wrestler?
Well, I grew up watching wrestling. My mom and dad would always, have it on every night that it was on and everything. So I'd always had an interest in it growing up. And I think the moment back in '96 when Hogan turned on the world, I think that was like the big thing in my head at 6 years old that's what I needed to do.
Wow! So that one moment where Hogan turned his back on the wrestling world stuck in your mind all those years, and you said, well, that's what I got to do. I mean, and so I guess you would say that Hulk Hogan was your big influence to becoming a professional wrestler.
I hate to say that sometimes, but yeah, I think he was the one that, really got me inspired to want to do it and, try to be the best that I could be.
Where did your cowboy persona come from? Because I know you come to the ring with a trench coat and cowboy hat.
Right. Well, that all stems back to my childhood. I grew up around horses and around a farm environment. So it's always been like a part of me. And they always said when I was being trained to be the best wrestler you can be, is to be like an expression of yourself, like your natural, real life self. So I just took that and multiplied it by 10, amped myself up. And that's where the CJ Holloway gimmick comes from.
That's very interesting.
Now, at Renegade Championship Wrestling, you have been in the ring with TNA star, former TNA, NWA heavyweight champion Abyss. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. I guess it all starts back a little over a year ago. I was told that I would be facing him. I'd been doing some pretty bad time, and the general manager, Randy Windham, decided that the best thing to do would be to bring in this monster to kind of teach me a lesson. Well, we had our match, and he pretty much beat me down, beat me with a chair and then choke slammed me into a bunch of thumbtacks, and kind of learned my lesson from that. And then more recently, the second time that we faced, it was Randy Windham, who had turned his back on the world and was trying to bring in Abyss to shut me down again because he felt like the fans were too much behind me, and he didn't want me to be this star and be successful and whatnot. And I think we all know how that went the second go-around.
For the Monster Abyss, he's 6'8", over 350 pounds. I mean, being in the ring for like that, what is your strategy in a match like that, TJ?
Really, the only strategy that you can have, when you're in there with somebody of his size and, you know what he's capable of doing, really the best strategy is to survive. You got to really pick your moments, and, you can't let him slip by, or else, it's going to be game over for you, because he's a big guy. He can put a hurting on you real quick.
He's also a hardcore type wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a hardcore type wrestler, or just, divert to hardcore have to?
Right. I've never really considered myself a hardcore guy. My style is a little more like a brawler, along the lines of Steve Austin, or one of my big influences was Harley Race. That's more my style. But I'm one of those guys where I'm going to do whatever I have to do in order to survive. If I get put in a match where I've got to use weapons, or if I have to do something crazy, like climb a ladder or whatever, I'm going to do what I've got to do, because first off, I'm a champion, so I've got to show my product is the best. So I've got to do what I've got to do in order to survive and in order to keep winning matches and stay the champ.
Now, I know that you've been in steel cage matches. You've been in Monsters Ball matches.
Mm-hmm.
What is the craziest match you've ever been in? I mean, are those two top the list?
Well, I would definitely have to say that 2 matches with Abyss would be my 2 most insane matches, I guess. I've never done anything too outlandish, but those are, and the match where I actually won my first heavyweight championship inside a steel cage with Aiden Always Right. That's another one of the crazier matches that I had, and that was probably one of the top on my list.
Interesting. So what's your top feud that you've had in Renegade Championship Wrestling? Would you, I mean, besides Abyss, because I know you fought Abyss several times, but what's your top feud besides Abyss that you've had?
Probably the top for me still to this day would have to be the one that I had with my former best friend, Wade Devlin. We had literally grown up together, went to school, hung out after school. We were like best friends, and he was actually going to be the best man in my wedding a few years ago. But we were a tag team, we were kicking butt and taking names, so to speak, and the fans started getting behind him a little bit, and I got jealous, and we ended up getting in a good feud that culminated probably about 6 months after the initial match that started everything. And, we had everything from stretcher matches to hardcore anything goes matches. And, it got real personal, and it got real hard to, keep it professional and do things the right way. But that would probably be my top.
Well, I've got to say, after you saying all that, it reminds me of Edge and Christian. They grew up together and got into the wrestling business, and they had a feud themselves, and so you two might You two might be on WWE one day. Who knows? They might be telling the same story except with two different people. You know.
You never know. That's why we do it.
Jason, you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
My phone is acting up again. Sorry about that, fans. Do not get T-Mobile.
Okay, you got a question or anything, Jason?
Oh, yes. Would you name off some of the championships that you have held, CJ, to let the fans know a little bit more about you and your accomplishments?
Well, I guess most of accomplishments, it's not too entirely long. I'm a two-time RCW heavyweight champion. As far as like titles or championships, that's the only championship that I've ever won. Accomplishments, I mean, I've traveled around wrestling, and to me that's an accomplishment, you know, getting out there and getting my name out.
Definitely is. Now, MMA, I mentioned that a little bit earlier. What are your intentions what are you going to do in MMA? Are you a pro wrestler or transfer into the MMA world?
My background in martial arts goes back to I started doing American karate and Korean karate when I was 2 years old. I was doing that for a man named Ricky Lockhart. He was a 6th degree black belt. He trained me there. I got my black belt with him. I moved on and started doing judo. I did a little bit of that. Got into the jiu-jitsu thing. I did 4 amateur fights, and I went 2-2, one by knockout, one by submission, and the 2 losses were by time limit. And you know, I did that for a while, and that was the point that I realized that I didn't want to do that anymore. You know, it was just killing my body too much, and you know, I knew I had to do something physical with myself, and pro wrestling just seemed to be the best option. And like I said, it was a childhood dream to do. So,
as we both know, pro wrestling can definitely tear your body up as well. But this is a kind of a different story. Now, you're a karate instructor, am I correct?
Former, but yes, at one time I was a karate instructor.
And I'm assuming black belt.
Yes, 2nd degree.
2nd degree. So, I mean, how was that? Did you work with kids, work with older people, and how was that part of your life?
I mean, you have to start, you know, when you first start becoming an instructor, you start with a smaller group, you know, generally younger kids and everything. And then once you progress and get good at that, you can go teach the adult classes and things like that. For me, though, I would have to say, you know, teaching the real little kids, you know, like I'm talking 3 and 4 years old, you know, it's hard for them to comprehend a lot of stuff, so you have to make it fun for them. And that was probably, that's typically what I prefer working with is the younger kids, just because they're a lot more fun, more energetic, and willing to do things.
Yeah, plus you can instill in them, you know, being probably a role model figure as a black belt karate instructor, you can instill in them things that they can use later in life. So that's quite an accomplishment in itself, CJ. I have to say.
I want to let the fans know, if you got a question for CJ Holloway from Renegade Championship Wrestling, call in at 773-897-6289 and press 1 to be in the host's view. And I also want to let the fans know, if you're out there and you're listening to Podcast 1, check out the Chase Chrisley's new podcast. On Podcast One, it is available now. Go there and download it and subscribe. That is the Chase Chrisley. And check out his podcast that debuted today on Podcast One. If you have the opportunity, CJ, to go over to or to go to Lucha Underground to wrestle, which one of those two promotions do you think that you would choose?
Well, right now, on this point in my life, I would have to say, going to somewhere like a Ring of Honor. I don't know if my style would be suited for Lucha Underground. Obviously everybody's dream is to go to the WWE. So if a call came in saying, "Hey, would you go to NXT?" I definitely wouldn't turn that down. But if I had a pick right now in my life, I would say Ring of Honor would be where I would go.
That is a good choice.
I think you would fit good in Ring of Honor. I tell you, I was actually really impressed. I watched it the other day with the top prospect tournament winner. I know his name was Eli, but I can't remember what his last name was. But I know that the Lucha Underground and not Eli Drake. Because that's the guy from TNA. Eli something. Right. He was a little bitty guy that wrestled this big giant, and he actually won in NXT now. And Lucha Underground's actually interested in signing him, so I thought he did a good job. But I think he would do good over there, with their style and everything. And so it could happen, because we've had a lot of guests that have been on the show before that have been over on Ring of Honor. So you don't ever know, it could happen. I mean, if the right talent scout comes over there, to Renegade Championship Wrestling, they could scout you out and, call you up. I mean, what are your theories on the upcoming Cruiserweight Network special the WWE Network's doing? What are your thoughts on that?
I've only heard a little bit about it. I actually haven't been around to go around and see what kind of interesting stuff the network had to offer here recently. But I mean, if they're talking about bringing the any kind of cruiserweight scramble or anything anything having to do with cruiserweights, putting focus on them, I think it's a chance that they're going to be able to do something big with it. Bring back a historic part of that company and this business.
I do too, because the cruiserweight division over in WCW, when it was in business, basically helped establish Nitro for what it was, and then the X division in TNA, when it started off, helped establish TNA, and then WWE or WWF at the time had the lightweight division, and you had so many different genres of different individuals that have come through, and fought on those different divisions, and they were so impressive. I mean, you couldn't take your eyes off of the action,
right.
Of what was going to happen next. So,
Brian, you're correct on that, because WCW in the latter years would always have like a main event you would want to see. You'd see like Sting versus Bret Hart, or Hogan and Nash. We know how that ended. And it only lasts 5 minutes, 2 minutes for the entrance, and then the run-ins. So the cruiserweight set the stage for you and sold the show every time. WWE kind of took out of the cruiserweight division when Hornswoggle won the title, and a couple of other people won it that shouldn't have won it. So, I'm interested to see on what comes out of this. If they do it right this time, it could be some of the most exciting pro wrestling. As even when WCW in '91, with a worldwide heavyweight title division, with guys like Brian Pillman, Flamingo, a.k.a. Raven, and
Jushin Thunder Liger.
Brad Jushin Thunder Liger. There you go. It was very exciting time, and they always set the tone for the main events. Now, WCW's main events then were great, all besides Jim Herd's stupid gimmick thing that he was doing and trying to copy Vince. But they had great main events, but still, the cruiserweight, light heavyweight, junior heavyweight, whatever you want to call them, set the tone. And it's going to be very interesting to see. I mean, TJ, you seem to be a big fan of the light heavyweight or junior heavyweight.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it could be some very interesting pro wrestling. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know about you guys.
I'm looking forward to it as well. And another thing that I think they should bring back, and I know a lot of people may not agree with me, and a lot of people would, but if you're a member of NWAclassics.com, www.nwaclassics.com, you can get it for $8.99 a month. That's $1 cheaper than the WWE Network. They have a lot of rare and classic matches on there with Ric Flair, Fabulous Freebirds, also Little Eagle, and that's what I'm getting into. My point is this: they need to bring back the midget division, because the midget division, that those guys could wrestle too at their own pace, and it was very very entertaining. And I mean, so that's interesting too. If they would bring that back, but I don't know what McMahon has planned or whatever. I mean, he basically does what he wants to do. But we kind of got off topic. Let's get back on the topic of Renegade Championship Wrestling. When is y'all's next show coming up, CJ?
Our shows are every Saturday night. Doors open at 6 p.m. The bell time is 8. It's at 806 North 2nd Avenue, Chatsworth, Georgia. Real fun place to be.
And who y'all have scheduled this coming Saturday night to be on the card?
I haven't heard exactly who all's going to be on everything yet. Haven't talked with a promoter. Got all that information. But I do know that I will be there. I can already tell you Jess Wade and Shane Williams, they recently reformed Rebel Alliance this past Saturday, so they'll be there. Nate Wild will be there. Josh Vaughn, Aiden Always Right, young guy Brent Banner will be there. There's a lot of good names to come out and check out. It's definitely some good action out there.
All right. Well, one of those names you mentioned, I'm very familiar with, Shane Williams.
Oh yeah.
Shane Williams. I know that Shane Williams has been wrestling for a long time. I mean, I've heard of Shane Williams, for years, and I know he's a pretty good wrestler.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he was on the outdoor. It was like an outdoor channel I used to watch. It was TW. It don't come on anymore, but I really enjoyed it because I enjoy anything that I could see that's not WWE's more entertainment. I'm the wrestling sports guy type. I like the sport. CJ, how about yourself? Are you sports entertainment, or do you like the sport of pro wrestling as a whole?
I'd have to say I like the sport of pro wrestling. I mean, there's just so much athleticism that's involved in it. You're always flipping around, jumping in the air, doing all these fantastic moves that look beautiful when they're done right. And it's the sport of it. Two grown men duking it out. Head-to-head battle, physical combat. To see who's the better guy. And, one guy always has to lose. So it's just interesting to see the sport of pro wrestling, and, see it for what it is.
Yeah, a lot of
I agree, because I don't like the whole having when you come out there having a script and entertainment aspect of it. I like it like back in the old days, Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair and, Roddy Piper and God rest Roddy Piper and Dusty Rhodes' souls. But, they would go on and get on the mic and, they would tell it like it was. They didn't have a guy in their ear saying, oh, you need to do this and be careful not go off key and say the wrong word and then you mess everything up. I mean, it's more of, it's kind of funny, I tell different people, and they don't seem to understand the aspect of this. They don't go to the indie wrestling shows, but I tell them, I say, I have such a great time going to these indie shows, better than I would going to a WWE event or TNA or these other other events, because I don't exactly know how TNA does their stuff on script and stuff, but more preferably WWE, because when you go to these indie shows, you see guys like yourself and other guys get out there, and even women get out there and wrestle and put on a show for the fans, and you can tell they're putting their heart and soul into it, and it's more of what you want to see of professional wrestling than it is what you see on the entertainment side of the WWE, going out there and they have to do everything by the book. You know what I'm saying, but I mean, it's just more energetic, altogether. And also, I want to throw out something. Abyss, has fought you several different times. And speaking of Abyss, tonight, folks, you can catch TNA Impact Wrestling on Pop TV live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can see the monster Abyss on there in action, who has fought CJ Holloway several times. CJ, I'm going to name 5 different names to you, and I want you to give me your opinion of them. Okay. The first name is Ace Haven, who works for Pro South Wrestling.
I've never actually watched much of his work, actually. I've heard a ton about him. I think we're friends on Facebook. I've heard a lot of great things about him. Heard he's a very talented guy. And, he's been doing that for a while, I would assume, and I've just heard that he's very talented, really knows what he's doing in there.
Okay, the next name is Jimmy Rave.
Jimmy Rave, he probably doesn't remember, but Jimmy Rave came up during my training when I was first getting into the business, and helped us once or twice, I believe it was, and met him there. He's definitely one of the best guys around. Very talented in the ring, talented on the microphone. He's been everywhere. Jimmy's probably one of my favorite indie wrestlers of all time.
Okay, the third name is Tyson Dean.
Tyson Dean is a very big guy. He's got the look to make it anywhere he wants to go. And I watched a few of his matches. He had a match with what was his name? I can't remember his name, but it was a big guy that he wrestled, and it was a very good match, back and forth action. He looks like he's a very athletic guy. He can do a lot in the ring. Looks like he's long-winded. I think he's got pretty much all the tools to make it somewhere.
The fourth name is Cyborg Cyrus the Destroyer.
That's another guy that I've heard a lot about. He's wrestled a lot of big names as well. He's definitely got something going for him. I see him making it somewhere very soon.
And the last name is Johnny Rock.
Johnny Rock. I was in my civilian life. I used to work at the same place that he did, so that's how I got to know him. But he's one of the old timers. And I don't mean that offensively at all. I mean that as respectable as possible. He's one of the veterans of the business. He's been around for a while. He really knows what he's doing. He's teaching these young guys, to take on the next generation of the business, and doing pretty good with it, if I can say that.
Well, that's all great input, great opinions of those people. And speaking of those people, Johnny Rocks and Cyrus the Destroyer, they wrestled at the last show AJ Styles did against Corey Hollis, and they wrestled each other in Canton at Georgia Premier Wrestling. And I'll tell you what, they put on a unbelievable matchup, to say the least.
They did.
I mean, they went out there and they. I literally felt like when I was watching Cyrus the Destroyer wrestle that I was watching Brock Lesnar, because on his shirt he says the Beast, and that guy can go, and Johnny can also go, and so that was very good. Do you have any upcoming besides your event coming up this Saturday? Do you have any other things you'd like to promote before you go?
We can throw my Facebook and my Twitter out there. You can find me on Facebook at CJ Holloway. I've got a personal page and a fan page. Either one you want to do. And my Twitter is at the CJ Holloway. You can follow me there or tweet me or whatever. I don't know much about Twitter, but you can follow me there, and I post all my upcoming matches and events I'll be at on all of those on social media.
Okay, and we will. I'll definitely get the show to you. I will post it to you on Twitter and on Facebook, and so the fans can listen into the show. And we want to thank you so much for taking time out, CJ, to be on the show today. It was an honor to have you on the show, and we hope you'll come back in soon.
Definitely. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. God bless.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Renegade Championship Wrestling star CJ Holloway. And Jason, you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Do we got anything else we need to go over or cover? I mean, we've got a few more minutes.
Well, yeah, definitely. The Beach State Wrestling Alliance Heritage Championship Tournament continues this weekend. You will see matches like Tyson Dean versus P-Dog, Mike Posey, Kevin Blue versus Tommy Too Much, and much, much more. And on that card, also already signed, Calm Like a Bomb, Pandora against Erica Strong. Should be a very interesting weekend. This is Saturday night at the VFW Fairgrounds in Carrollton, Georgia, as the tournament continues, and it has been amazing so far. That's Saturday, March 18th, VFW Fairgrounds in Carrollton, Georgia. Don't miss it, fans. Brian?
All right. Well, that's it. That sounds good, and I want to bring up something while we're on the air, Jason, to see if you know anything about this. NWA Atlanta. Do you know anything about NWA Atlanta being at Stockbridge Middle School on March the 28th?
Not yet. I'm sure I will be notified. It's a definite possibility. We have done it there before, but at this point, the reason that I didn't want to interrupt you, but the reason I wanted to let you know why I mentioned that, I had somebody send me a message last night, a friend of mine, and they said, "Are you going to NWA Atlanta March 28th at Stockbridge Middle School?" And I said, "I didn't know they was having a show," and they said, "Yeah, just come down my news feed." And I've been looking for it, and I haven't seen it. And the 28th, is on a Monday, so that's another thing that threw me off. That would be a no then. Trust me. I mean, I'm one of the first ones to know when something gets posted. Of course, I'll post
Yeah.
it on our posting feed. Right now, I'm thinking we're coming towards April as we try to get a new location. But we have been at Stockbridge Middle School before. I wouldn't mind going back there, but to tell you the truth right now, it looks like April for the next NWA Atlanta show.
Okay. I just wanted to get some kind of confirmation on that because I didn't know because I had went to NWA Atlanta's page and I looked and I didn't see anything about it, and I looked at different places and I'm like, well, I don't even see anything about this, so I'm not sure why that came down their news feed. So that's kind of odd,
You would see it on my news feed because I'm always tagged, so I'll know what's going on. So, I mean, it's just speculation. A fan got some wrong information, I guess. I've never heard of us doing a show on a Monday. We've never done a show on a Saturday as long as I've been there, and I've been there 3 years. So,
yeah.
I don't know where the information came from.
I don't either. I did want to ask you, what did you think about the new theme song of the WSE Lounge?
Oh, I thought it was great. Got more people on it.
Yeah, and there was the maestro was in there, but there was one big surprise in there, and that was WWE Hall of Famer Tully Blanchard.
It was. I heard that, and I was very impressed with the new theme song. And while we're on NWA Atlanta, before we go, I need to point out to the crowd that we do have 2 NWA Georgia Tag Team Champions. If you missed the last show, Payne and Andy Anderson, the Faces of Death, defeated Iceberg and Logan Creed in the First Blood match, which was a very bloody, brutal match. Their Faces of Death are the new NWA Georgia Tag Team Champions, for those who have forgot, because we haven't been back in a couple of weeks. But NWA Atlanta's coming back and will be better than ever, so be looking for it, fans.
And I also want to point out before we go that I attended Wrestle America this past weekend in Barnesville, Georgia. Premier Wrestling Experience, whose partnership with us, the 5-star King Anthony Henry was there, as well as Amber Young. Also, Owen Knight was there, Kiera Hogan. Also, Iceberg was there, Scotty Beach, Johnny Nix, among the title match. The title match main event was very good. Tyson Dean put the Wrestle America World title on the line against Fried Eddie. That was a very good matchup. Tyson Dean won, regained the belt. Tyson Dean and Fried Eddie hugged. And at the end of the night, Fried Eddie got on the mic, and he got a little bit of emotional and said, "I just want to let everybody know that this is my last night in Wrestle America. I want to thank you fans. You'll be seeing me elsewhere, but you won't be seeing me here anymore." And he told everybody goodbye, and Tyson Dean stood and watched on. So I don't know where that's going or where that's headed. I don't know why Fried Eddie said that he was leaving Wrestle America, but we shall see where he turns up next. Also, the 5-star King Anthony Henry got the biggest pop of the night in his match against Owen Knight. The fans started cheering, "This is awesome," and he did a great job. And in the end, though, it was Owen Knight who picked up the win over Anthony Henry after low blowing Anthony Henry while distracting the referee and then hitting him with his finishing move. And also, I was able to interview Anthony Henry and the 5-star King Anthony Henry and Amber Young this past Saturday, and that's up on YouTube. on the YouTube channel. You can go to Brian Vaughn. The Wrestling Lounge YouTube channel that we had before closed down because it wasn't going anywhere. So everything is on my personal YouTube channel, Brian Vaughn. You can go and check that out. There was also a tag team matchup too that took place on Saturday, both teams put on a great job. But to be honest with you, I don't know the names of the teams. They were, both teams were very new to me. One of the teams were brothers, and they did some great moves and and everything. And so it was a good match. And also I have to mention, I cannot forget this. The Wrestle America, the NWA Women's Champion, Amber Gallows, there we go. Amber Gallows, the Bullet Babe, put the women's title on the line against Kiera Hogan, and Amber Gallows picked up the win over Kiera Hogan. And another thing that I liked they did this past Saturday was it was Fan Appreciation Night, and they had several different kids come to the ring and lead the wrestlers to the ring. And one of the kids, she had cancer, and she came to the ring and led Amber Gallows to the ring. And I thought that was very special. And one thing you have to remember, folks, when you have a wrestling and independent wrestling event to attend, and you have people there that have the same names, first names, you're gonna get them mixed up sooner or later, So if you have like 2 or 3 Jasons there, you're gonna get a lot of mix-ups. But anyway, it was that's always a possibility. And also, I got to say, Scotty Beach and Iceberg put on a great matchup as well. In the end, it was Iceberg, though, beating Scotty Beach. And also, Johnny Nix lost to that guy that I was telling you that I think his name was David. Yes. He lost to him because his manager distracted referee Radar Martin, and he pinned him and everything. But anyway, April the 8th, Wrestle America, Carlito is coming. Carlito Colon is coming to Wrestle America April the 8th. But we hope that you enjoyed today's show. Yeah, that ought to be good. But we got about a minute left, so gonna have to end the show for today. But we'll keep you posted on future shows. We possibly got a show tomorrow. I'm waiting to hear back on from some singers. So we possibly got a show tomorrow. We'll keep you posted. Follow us on Twitter at the WSE Lounge on Twitter, and on Facebook, the WSE Lounge Facebook page. Follow us on there, like the page, to keep up with all the latest news going on with the WSE Lounge. And me and Jason will keep you posted on all that. Got a lot of things going on with the WSE Lounge, with a lot of changes going on with artwork and cover pictures and theme songs and everything else. So we got a lot going on. But we will catch you next time on the WSE Lounge.
This is Mike Mooneyham. I want to tell all you fans out there, don't miss the WSE Lounge. You'll be glad you caught this great show.